I started with a really simple idea, and then I thought, oh, what if I do a few creative tweaks, and wondered where it would take me. I went to a very simple card to something that was like a piggy bank. I started off with my Party Piggy beautiful motifs and element of text. That's what I'm going to use to create these cards. So with the Party Piggy, for all my cards, I first stamped it onto very vanilla cardstock with the Espresso ink, and then die cut out the head and the body. Once I had that, I started on my very first card. This is the basic card. All the other cards will be based off this. Now, I'm using this little squiggly line from the beautiful motifs. I just thought it looked a little bit like mud, so I'm using Crumb Cake here and just randomly stamping across all the background of this cardstock. And then I will bring in the elements of text, the little dottage, again, just to make it look like splatters of mud, just randomly stamping one of the dottages all over, and then I'll swap over to the other stamp and do the same. I did a couple of first and second generation of stamping with this one, and then I attached it to the card base. Here I am just attaching it to the card base and attaching my pig. Now I'm just doing the standard pig, but I decided that I would add some dimensionals to the back of the head, just to add a little bit of dimension to his head, just some, I don't know, make it a little bit cuter. And then I decided to add a little bit more colour to my pig using the markers, but I realised that I missed an ear with the dimensionals, so just quickly added that and then added this. And I know you could colour him in before you attached him. This was just a last minute decision, which is pretty normal and standard for me to add things after I attach them to the cards. It's not something I would recommend. Okay, I'm using this brilliant stamp set that allows you to create a lot of messages all at once, and I'm using the Espresso Ink once again onto the very vanilla cardstock, and then I will die cut them all out. I'm just going to pick a bunch of different sayings that I will want for my cards that I'm going to create, and I thought this first one could be a happy birthday one. So I picked that up and I thought, yep, he could just like hold that between his trotters. But I really wanted to add a little bit of dimension around it. So I just quickly grabbed my marker and just drew around that. You can skip this step if that is not something that you want to try out, but I do recommend. You could even use an ink pad instead, like a little ink cube for something small like that. Would be perfect to add extra dimension to your pieces of card. And there is my first card completed. He's very cute, and now we're going to create the second one. So to create a stepped up version, I decided to use the texture notes once again. And then once I've stamped cut that out, I've just stamped it across. Now I've just quickly sped that up just so that I could get through this video. But this time I'm going to do my pig sideways. So I'm going to show you how I did that. I have to cut off a couple of trotters as well as the tail. Now the tail I'm actually going to keep. I'm cutting into the outer line of the body that comes when you do a die cut, and then that just sort of makes it closer to the line, because otherwise you would see the lines where the trotters and the tail were, and just cutting off the other two trotters. Now I'm going to grab that tail back again. I'm just snipping off like the excess cardstock that I don't need, and then I am going to attach it to the back of the pig's body. Now this is a great way to customize your pig so that he could be sideways instead of face on. I just thought that would be something a little bit different that you might like to try. So now I'm just going to bring in my markers, and I'm just going to quickly colour him in a little bit more this time. So I've used a black marker and some of those skin tone markers, and I'm just, randomly adding colour here and there to make my pig a little bit more realistic. I don't know. How could he look realistic, really? Anyway, I once again attach the head to the body, and then I'm just going to add some dimensionals to behind my pig to raise him up from that background that I've created. Now, I could have cut more pigs out and use cardstock instead and layered that up, or I could have used the foam sheet if instead of the dimensionals. But whatever is your preference to raise your critter up on the card. And here I am just attaching him, and now I'm going to grab one more quickly forgot that I did this. I added a little bit of sprinkling of marker because it just needed a little bit more mud on my pig. And here's the saying that I'm going to quickly add to the front of my card, and there's 2 cards done. So the third card, I've done the exact same thing. I've used the textured notes. As you can sort of see, it creates that little frame, and I've also just stamped up the background. I have already die cut out my pig the exact same way as I did the second pig, because I am going to do him on the side, but this time I'm going to grab my craft knife end for my take a pic pull, and I am going to cut into his body because I'm going to turn this little piggy into a money piggy, a piggy bank. I just thought that being that he's on his side, I could easily do a piggy bank style card, and that it could be a gift card. So I am just guesstimating how long I need to actually cut this. I could not tell you how long and how wide. I just made it wide enough and long enough to put in a rolled up $20 bill. And here's me just working out if it works with the head. It's not going to be too tight to put this money in, and I'm just going to outline it a little bit with my marker just to give it a little bit more dimension around it, just to make it more obvious that it is a piggy bank. And here's me rolling up the $20 bill and just testing this out. I just quickly rolled it up and put it in, and now I'm going to add some foam tape around the $20 bill just to form a bit of a pocket at the back. And here's the little dimensions at the back, and I'm just going to peel all that off and stick him on the card. And I've stuck it with the $20 bill, but it comes out quite easily and goes back in, no problem. So I've already taken it out a couple times, and now I'm just going to add my little saying. I'm just going to sit this end off because I just decided that I wanted it straight flush against the edge of the card. And that is my third card done. Now, I really hope that you liked the ideas that I've presented here, just to quickly change things up. Once again, you could quite easily make the first one very quick and simple, and it looks great. But you could step it up anytime you like using these ideas. And I'm sure there's plenty more.